My hero.
RGC.
Academia.
MBH.
Well, this is Brian's really good chapter of the week.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Now I'm going to ask you boys to be civil, because the MHA community doesn't like it when we have hot takes off the bat. But yeah, this is chapter 298, The Sounds of Collapse.
Wow. Fitting title.
So we get this little flashback of a panel. I don't really remember where what's his name? Skeptic is like talking down to the League of Villains, is like, we gave you the money, the video doctoring, Toga's new coat. So, why are you being so indignant? It's like, yeah, well, it's because of us that your fucking boss is in a hospital bed. And this is it turns out that while the raid at the Jakku hospital was happening, one of Twice's clones of shit. I know his name, damn it. Redestro.
Redestro, yeah.
Yeah, one of Twice's clones of Redestro pulled up to the safety commission and just attacked the safety commission, which is pretty crazy. I think like the whole thing was to kind of distract the heroes who are, or to at least like put a thorn in the side of the rescue heroes that the safety commission, I imagine, is in charge of to a degree. But yeah, it's weird. He's like, this is the system you've built. Your law and order, I suppose it was necessary, but we seek order without order. True freedom through liberation. The seeds are already sown as his clone melts away.
That's a little... I don't know. Maybe something went over my head.
That's how I felt.
I read it a couple times too.
Yeah, that's how I felt a little bit. I know he attacked the safety commission, which is pretty bad. I mean, you need those folks. These people are the ones who, I imagine, coordinate rescue heroes. And
I thought that they were just another hero agency that got attacked, but they're like an information.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
They're the guys that you have to answer to if you're not doing your job, I think, right? Isn't that what Aizawa had to talk to them for? Like he was on trial for them?
Well, they proctored one of the license exams. You remember that? They were the proctor for the rescue phase. Remember when they had like the old people, like the crisis?
So they're essentially like the police, or like the office police.
They kind of ensure that heroes are prioritizing saving people.
Okay, specifically of hero. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
they're the brain trust of the operation.
Yeah,
as far as the heroing period. Okay, yeah. I'm glad I understand that a little bit better now.
Yeah. 6 hours after the attack of Tartarus, a couple other prisons are actually broken into by the Near High Ends and a few other villains.
And all for one in his actual body.
All for one in his actual body seems to be escaping from Tartarus using one of the guards there, because these planes seem to be operated by biometric ID. So he, I guess, takes over one of their bodies and makes them fly it for him. And at 5:04 a.m., he seems to be talking through Shigaraki and basically saying like, the groundwork is laid. The sudden rash of violent escapees should hamper the authorities pursuing me. So, just guard Shigaraki. He basically talks to Skeptic, Spinner, and Dabi, asking him to guard Shigaraki while his body rests. And Spinner's like, we got along more than I thought, bonded over gaming and stuff, but you're not the guy I agreed to follow. And One for All says, hey, have no fear. I have great respect for his will. This body simply needs time and rest to be perfected. But once it is, our desires will come to fruition.
These 2 pages, it's so funny, bro, because the first page was where I was at the peak of my excitement for this chapter. And then the next page was the lowest point.
Why?
Of me. But I guess I'll try to make it brief. Basically, I feel like this is being kind of hand waved as far as the dynamic of them following Shigaraki and being at unease over this dude taking over Shigaraki's body. I feel like I guess we'll see what happens next chapter or in the next few ones, but I don't know, man. This after the end of this chapter, I didn't catch the vibe that we was going to get more villain activity anytime soon. But it doesn't mean that stuff can't be fleshed out and explored more later. So
Yeah.
I'm not really that upset. I just thought we was kind of leading towards that, like now in this chapter, and then that was kind of it.
I thought the opposite actually. But I think I'll get into it when we get to our thoughts later.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll listen to what both y'all have to say actually, because I did want to talk to y'all about it.
We then cut to 2 days later where Bakugo wakes up. He's alive! Yeah! We're not losing our secondary main character.
I thought he was dead for sure, bro.
Yeah. But it's good he's still
Totally
here.
wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess his development is not over. It'd be weird if he just died there, but yeah, he's alive and everybody's thrilled to see him alive. And then he's at the Central Hospital, turns out, the best state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line medical care facility. And he immediately just asks, what about Deku and Todoroki? Which is nice that he seems to care about both of them now in a genuine way. And he then asks for our sensei and our senpai and Endeavor. What's going on? We then get little flashes of the other heroes that we've seen in the battle. Gran Torino looks like he is in rough shape. Man, this is going to be a fucking gut punch if he goes. Aizawa's okay. He's just got one eye. I think probably from now on he'll only have one functioning eye to use. With
Yeah, and he's also missing a leg.
Oh, right. I forgot his leg got cut off.
Well, he didn't get cut off. He cut it off himself.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Gangster.
I mean... Oh, wrong sound. Damn it.
Turn down for what? For cutting off your own leg?
I mean, if there's any point to turn down, it's when you're about to cut off your own leg. But yeah, they're basically sitting there, and man, President Mike is like, man, even Kayama, who is Midnight, he's like mourning her loss as well. And Aizawa's just like, I just want to know how the kids are, man. And Todoroki's bandaged up, man. He got fucked up by Dabi, so he's just sitting there. Everybody's like trying to console him and comfort him. Endeavor seems to be in like surgery right now, so he's not doing fantastic. And at that moment, Todoroki kind of remembers that one villain they fought, who mentioned that his shining light beckons the dark. It precipitates our demise. Almost as if to say, like, yo, this guy was predicting Dabi directly, that he'll have something to do with Endeavor, and it'll be kind of Endeavor's fault that this character exists. And he starts to think about it, man. He's really just... These are like realistic thoughts that I would also have kind of in that situation where it's like, man, his flames are stronger than Dad's, and I couldn't win with firepower alone, so, you know...
Were they stronger than... They were stronger than Endeavor's?
Yeah, Endeavor mentioned
he had to fight Nomu. He had to fight against Shigaraki. He had max power before he got his fucking quirks removed from Aizawa Sensei. Like, I don't know, man.
This isn't new. This isn't new information. Like, even Endeavor himself said that Toya's flames were stronger than his, or had potential to be stronger.
Yeah,
than his.
he said that when...
It's just that he inherited the ice body, like an ice body that can't withstand all that heat.
Yeah.
So that's the drawback. He's stronger than Endeavor, but his body is weak, essentially.
So...
Okay.
Yeah, and Todoroki kind of draws up kind of a comparison to him because Todoroki also had like this weird, like this crazy rage against and resentment against his father, justified, but still he finds that similarity is like, Dad can't do it. I have to be the one to handle my brother Toya. And I'm like, let's go. At that moment, that's when his brother and sister pull up to visit, and a shadowy figure, which is almost certainly his mom, which will be a very heartwarming chapter, no doubt. At that moment,
Well, that's his mother. That's not his sister.
That's
Oh
his
no, the
sister.
girl with the hat is his sister.
Yeah, but there's a
Oh.
shadowy
Oh.
figure in the back.
Oh, but the shadowy. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at that moment, Bakugo is just like making a fucking racket everywhere. He's just trying to run towards Midoriya's room. Everybody's trying to stop him, and he's like, "He's dead meat if he thinks he can die on me." But yeah, Todoroki and the other, I think Sero mentions he flashes back to Sero basically explaining that Todoroki and the others are conscious. At least all of them except for Midoriya. He's shown no signs of waking up. So
Also, it's really weird that Deku's mom isn't there.
Yeah.
yeah, we don't know.
No, but it's been 2 days, right? Like,
Well, we don't see the
she
whole
should
room.
be there.
We don't see the whole room. She could be just like around.
I would
hope
say
so.
the artist maybe should have included her there for the dramatic effect.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd
I
say
mean,
that.
you know, she could be in the building getting
Yeah,
food.
I think so.
know.
I don't care regardless. I just feel like, you know, if I'm gonna agree at all with Brian, it would be from that perspective. Like, you know, that
Yeah.
would have been a nice added touch.
Yeah, All Might is by his side though, and that's where the chapter ends. A very interesting, foreboding thing for My Hero's future. We were very much talking about what is next for the series, and I feel like there's a little bit of a clearer picture of what's going to come. And if I'm right, I hope I'm right. I think like it's a more interesting perspective. But if you guys want to go first, the floor is open.
I guess I'll go first since IRGC'd it.
Yeah, go for it.
This chapter basically, from my perspective, it set up the groundwork for the future of heroes, right? Like, it's basically like, so think about it like this. Every time they talk about All Might, the world before All Might, it's always been like chaos and like order was barely held. Like nobody could really stand up. Even previous One for All users couldn't stand to One for All. I mean to All for One. So then All Might comes around and he basically ignites hope and creates a world where, you know, this is like everything's structured. Heroes have advantage, right? So they built a system around all that, and this is the system falling apart. Like if you think about it, ever since All Might stopped being the symbol of hope or the symbol of peace, things have been slowly undoing. Like all of his progress that he achieved while he was a hero was pulled back. Slowly but surely. And then this was like the final nail in the coffin, right? This is like the end of all the progress that All Might did for the Hero Society.
Yeah.
So this is basically setting up Deku's return to be the person who restores peace and hope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. I definitely see this as a chapter that's, you know, like that after the huge event that just took place, they're trying to like, you know, let everyone chill out, relax, but also give you an idea of what to look forward to in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that leads into maybe what you were going to mention earlier, Chris, about like the 2 pages where you said you had felt opposite from me. Where I felt kind of, I guess, like, what's the word? Not too enthusiastic for what's coming next immediately. It was the 2 pages where I had mentioned I had high hopes and then I went to having low hopes.
Yeah.
It was Spinner. Remember, Spinner mentioned something, and I'm a huge Spinner fan, generally speaking. I want to see more from him. I want to see what he's about. He seems to kind of be the heart of the villains, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like that, you know. Like he's not dumb. He just really doesn't. He's critical. Anyway, I'm not trying to break down his character. It was just cool that he was kind of like checking All for One, and he's like, bro, like who the fuck are you? And the guy is just like, yes, don't worry. So I don't know. I'm just reiterating how I felt, but I'm starting to think about it a little bit more now, and like they're gonna follow up on that. Then that's not gonna be something that's not gonna be checked up on eventually. It is.
Yeah.
I just want more. I want it now. I want to see that happening now.
Yeah, but if you like, this is the main. I feel like this chapter mainly, its main purpose was to set up the future of My Hero Academia. Essentially, it gives people motivations. It switched like the pedestal of power. You know, now it used to be the heroes, but I honestly
Now it's a little
right
bit
now,
more up in the air.
yeah, I'm like trying to think about it, and I'm like, the heroes have so much shit to deal with right now. Like it just feels like this is a very villain-sided situation right now. Like once Shigaraki's rested, it's back to heroes being on top again. Like because right now they don't have a real symbol of peace right now.
Villains.
Their number one hero's out of commission. Next person in line is Best Genius, and he can only do so much, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that we were talking about, you know, what's next for My Hero. Is it barreling towards the end, or are people like, is Horikoshi trying to tell us like this series only has a finite amount? And I don't know. I feel like this chapter kind of like assured that there is a lot left. There are like
so much more. Yeah.
There's a ton of prisons that were just exploded, meaning there more than likely be a lot more villains to face off against. We may not see our core group of League of Villains, but we will have like some familiar faces in Muscular and people like Moonfish and an Overhaul to a degree, and there's these new guys that we might see the near high ends. I feel
Overhaul, yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna do a time skip. I feel like what I hope will happen is that Midoriya will probably like be out of commission for like a handful of chapters, and the rest of the cast will have to deal with this strange new world, and Deku will wake up in a brand new world that's completely unfamiliar to what he did when he went to bed, you know? You know, maybe Reno dies in this time, maybe
honestly
maybe All Might dies in this time.
Honestly, I am not too against Deku going into a comatose like state, you know, for a couple of years. Honestly, I'm not against that because if you think about it, like Deku's was developing almost absurdly too fast during this arc, right? Mm-hmm. Like he unlocked 2 quirks, he pushed his body beyond its limits, and they made it very, very clear that if your body isn't ready for these abilities, there's going to be big ramifications, right?
Right.
And he kind of broke every rule in the book, you know, like he used jump quirk, he used like the spider sense, not just once, not twice, 3 times, and it was already having a toll on him during the combat.
Yeah, he was blasting his bones apart with the super strength because I mean,
and he overused his super strength. So like, there has to be a big ramification. Like his body has to be going through a shift at this point. Like there has to be ramifications for it. And I wouldn't be opposed to him going into a comatose state and having Bakugo take the front seat or Todoroki.
I'd rather him be comatose than it be the development like, Midoriya, you did too much and now your arms cannot be used. Like, I don't want to see my main character be mostly crippled.
Yeah.
Is that ignorant?
No.
Is that prejudice?
No, it makes sense.
You sure?
Yeah. No.
But I think it's probably going to lead to...
There's no wheelchair superheroes, guys. That's a problem.
Well, Oracle.
WizKid.
No, I'm being facetious. Let me stop. Oracle. Oh shit! Yeah, you guys are on point. All right.
Is WizKid?
You know our stuff here, New Jump City. We're closer.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Here's what I think. I mean, what I think will happen is that Midoriya will probably wake up sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
What I hope will happen is that we do get some side, because that's one of my least favorite things about My Hero is that there isn't that much based on the cast. It's like, and I mean, it's hard to do because
I get Naruto PTSD, bro.
I mean, it's hard to do because there are like a class size cast here where you can't.
Whose fault is that? That's my fault.
No, it's you gotta.
It's your fault, bro.
No, I mean, like I don't expect
that added all of these people.
I don't expect every single character to get like an arc of their own.
No, of course not.
I hope to see some cool moments from Class 1B, and Shinso and
Big Hand Schmacker.
Big Hand Schmacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's an interesting
You know
time
what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, yeah, Kendo.
Big sis. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for My Hero, and we were on and off and hot and cold about this series for a lot of the time during this war arc. I feel like I'm mostly into it, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. I feel like we're 1-4 with My Hero Academia predictions, so that's kind of a positive thing, is that we can't easily predict what's next.
Yes.
But
man, Prison Break arc, huh?
I'm just glad.
I'm not even mad at Brian or nothing. It just it would have been cool. It's all right.
We're probably like. I mean, I think
He
the
did
only
see
thing.
Stain though. He did see Stain. He did go to see him. That's
Did
something
he?
that happened. So that's still a plot point.
No, he didn't.
Am I not?
He didn't
Did
go.
he say
yet.
I have to go to the prison?
He said he
do
had
something?
to, but he didn't go yet. Well, he'll
What
probably
if
see
Stain
it.
stays there?
Oh, we'll probably
and
see
waits
Stain
for
now.
All Might.
Stain probably bounced, dude. Stain
I
didn't want to
mean,
be caught.
Yeah, he's gonna
I mean,
find All Might.
All Might.
And be like,
I mean,
"Whoa."
One for All is still in the prison, right? Or All for One?
All for
No,
one
he's
left.
out. He's out.
He's out.
Well,
All right.
that's
He's
another
gone, bro.
interesting
They're out in the
thing.
woods somewhere. He's
Yeah, that's another interesting thing, is that they're not going to link up immediately. So there'll probably be time where All for One is not going to be like with Shigaraki, and he's probably going to be making moves on his own, which is kind of cool. And he's probably got some villains with him as well.
Yeah, he still has fucking Shirakumo and
Yeah, it seems like Shigaraki was returned with just the Nomu. Because I didn't see like Muscular around him or nothing, so he left him pretty much with Skeptic, Dobby, and Spinner. So yeah, he's got all those guys on his side except for maybe Overhaul, who bounced. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
yeah, that was crazy.
Lots of cool shit.
But my main thing that I loved about this chapter was kind of establishing some motivation for Todoroki. You know, like before, like Todoroki didn't really have an aim in this series until this Toya thing happened, and I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, why didn't he just straight up fight Dabi and shit like that?" But he didn't have a like true motivation like at that moment still, like, and now he has something to light his fire essentially.
Well,
like,
I'm okay with the excuse that there's a lot of shit going on around that battle, and there's probably a lot of confusion, and it's pretty shocking to hear that your brother has been like a fucking mass murderer for the last few years. So and plus Dabi's stronger than him at this point. So, it's not like he was sitting around doing nothing. He was overpowered by him.
he even burnt his throat, so he can't talk.
Yeah, it's a rough thing. Yeah, it's an interesting time. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I'm here for it, is what I'm saying. My Hero Academia is like, it's hard to disparage it, really. Like, as a whole, it's very much a wait and see kind of series, and see where he's going with this. Hopefully he slows it down and we get a little bit of development within a lot of characters, and we see a lot developing within the world even. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I hope we get more like worldwide heroes coming to help Japan. Like, we get
like
other
Jujutsu
people from
Kaisen.
other countries.
Maybe it's a lot like Cursed.
Japan doesn't have a monopoly on all the super peoples.
Maybe it's a lot like Cursed Techniques, where it's a majority of.
No, there is
Majority of
heroes
it is
across
in
the-
Japan.
Yeah,
in
didn't
My Hero
they have the movie
Vigilante.
when this dude was in America.
yeah.
Yeah, My Hero Vigilantes. There's a guy who there's a hero that comes from America to Japan to like repair his image.
Nice.
So
We gotta read that, huh? I think.
Yeah, we do. We have to read Vigilantes, Brian. You tell us.
I feel like we.
I
have
mean,
to.
you haven't went out of your way to be like, guys. Yeah,
Vigilantes
it's a
is a real
decent
deal.
series. You
You
don't,
tell us.
No, it's
it's
not
a
that I didn't
decent
like it.
series. Like, you can read it.
No,
like,
I
it's
need it to
a
be
fun-
real serious for me to have to read it, bro. I'm
I've read
sorry to add that to the lineup.
Yeah.
No, not the lineup. I mean personally, just for me to go out my way and
Yeah.
catch up and shit.
It's not always serious, but when it has its arcs, it is a very decent read.
I'm just waiting on you to
Like,
tell me. For
it
you
puts
to
a lot
just
of-
Brian.
pull up and be like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, you should start reading.
Yeah, pull the trigger, Brian.
You
Be
know I'll
definitive.
take you. Yeah, you
I-
I mean, I'm just gonna assume at this point that just hasn't happened yet, where you feel like, and that's fine.
I think
pretty
the
sure it ain't
newest
going
arc.
nowhere.
I think the newest arc is actually pretty interesting to read because it's more All Might centered, like pre-injury and all that shit. Like, you get to see him in action and stuff. and how him and Dai work together and all that. So I think it's a good read if you want like more context for how this world works, like how the Hero Society works, like before all this shit happened and during All Might's reign and stuff. So I mean, it's a good read. It's like you get to learn more about the world itself and all that, but there's a lot of like jokey stuff in there, so
Yeah,
it's not always 100% serious.
I'll say this last thing about Jujutsu Kaisen because I keep My Hero because I keep thinking of things I wanted to say about it from my notes. Is I feel like this and Jujutsu Kaisen did a very similar thing where they were both establishing the futures of what's to come for their series.
Yeah,
they both kind of did the same thing where like there will be new villains and you'll have to fight them.
So, they set the groundwork for each other.
So it's very set the groundwork chapter. I mean, All For One said it himself. It's like the groundwork is laid. We did it. Yeah, that's all I got to say about My Hero